All right, folks, the rumors are true. We are headed north. I'm headed to a KOA campsite to do an overnight in my Model Y. Now, they weren't too excited I was bringing a Tesla, but we're going to save judgment until we're there. I thought that was a little interesting considering you can plug an RV in. I'm the same plug. But anyways, we'll discuss that later. So it's currently a high heat warning in Phoenix. It's getting up to 109 today. The route is supposed to take 2 hours to get to where I'm going. It's going to take 3 because apparently a road is closed. So I'm going to talk about the efficiency of the vehicle. We're going to put the car in camp mode. I got a mattress and everything that I'm going to set up in the back. I'm going to use the air conditioning or heat or whatever all night because I'm going to be camping at 7,000 feet elevation up in Flagstaff, Arizona. So yeah, this is the first time I have ever camped in my Model Y. I'm not much of a camper. I don't like to camp. I like to stay in Mar-a-Lago. They've got great beds there. But anyways, we're gonna go camping. And I got a little detour I'm gonna make on the way, and you can follow along for that too. But we're on our way in the new 2026 Model Y, and we are going to use camp mode. The other thing I wanna talk about in the new Model Y is how incredibly well sprung, as T-Pain would say, I'm sprung. This suspension is so well done. And the car drives like a razor blade. It's just, because of the acceleration, how the steering feels, it just feels really precise. And it's quiet in the cab. I mean, they've just done an excellent job at fixing all of the complaints. So yeah, on our way. I love when people are like, yeah, you gotta get your car inspected. And then there's this guy here, look at this. Handicap too. This is so clutch. So SiriusXM was recently added to Teslas, so I can listen to the US Open in the car. So I was doing something the other day. It was kind of cool. I was driving my daughter around. She was in the back seat watching Miss Rachel. I was sitting in the front seat and the car was driving itself, and the car is driving itself right now as well. So it really is, in that moment, I was like, wow, this is very cool. I don't think there are any other vehicles in the US at least that can do that. You're streaming something from the internet while the car is driving itself, obviously with you supervising it. I say FSD supervised is the best name for it because you still have to sit and babysit the car. You can't just sit, like true full self-driving is me sitting in the back seat and working while the car drives itself. So that I think is the best name for it. So I thought that was pretty cool. But at the same time, on these longer road trips, it does reduce fatigue. It's nice to have full self-driving, so that's all good. But at the same time, I end up disengaging and taking control a lot of time, because right now, it's just camped in the left lane. Now, we are making some passes here, but it, for whatever reason, still likes to just camp out in the left lane in hurry mode. So maybe if I change that, that'll help. But it is impressive, and if you are tired, having this as a backup is excellent. I just heard something hilarious. Well, I've heard this before, but the term, I beg your pardon. I beg of you to pardon me. I always like to break down those common sayings that happen. You don't think of like what's behind. I'm begging you to pardon me for the mistake that I made. I gave him the pardon. Joe needed a pardon. The other thing that's great is we're just going up in elevation. We just crossed 3,000 feet in elevation. And in an electric car, whether it's Rivian, Tesla, a Porsche, Lucid, whatever, all of those companies have their drivetrains done correctly. They have good power in them as well as efficiency, especially Lucid with their efficiency. But just being able to rip straight up this mountain, I'm not worried about the transmission overheating. What is the car going to shift? It just has endless amounts of power. It's like, we're going uphill, fine. Here's 460 horsepower. It's a much better experience to drive this. Now, gas cars, you can still drive a gas car that has a lot of power in it and it rips right up the hill, no problem. But as far as just regular driving, I'm not talking about this replacing like a Porsche 911 or a 718 or an M3 or something like that. You want that visceral shifting, exhaust, engine note. You want all that experience. But for this type of driving, you don't want, don't tell me that you want 14 miles per gallon and you want to hear the V8 in your Expedition. You know what I mean? So I just really have come to appreciate the efficient power that these have. And no matter what type of terrain you're in, it delivers. Like this Wrangler in front of me, that transmission is going to explode at any minute. So I even remember my wife My wife had, I got a little excited there. I even remember my wife had a Ford Escape, bought it brand new, titanium package, whatever. Desert package, nitrogen in the tires. We were driving on this route. We were doing, the last time we camped actually, we went to Havasupai Falls in Arizona. We were just driving uphill. The transmission overheated. And keep in mind, it's 103 degrees where I'm at right now, up at 3,500 feet. The transmission, the car went into limp mode, could only go 40 miles per hour because we were going uphill. It's like, what? It's like you can get a used Tesla for 30, 25, 20 grand. And if you want a Model 3, you can get it for 15 grand or whatever. But I don't know, you just get so much power and the driving. That's why I bought one in the first place, is because the driving experience was really fun to me. And then the technology and safety, all the other stuff is great too. But for me, it had to be fun to drive first, and then I could consider it. And that's why I've owned now 3, plus a Rivian. I don't know if this is true, but they said that's where Bearded Tesla Guy was born. I definitely just take this for granted, but it is shocking driving into Sedona, just looking at like the red rock it's just beautiful. Now, if you are new to Sedona here, they do have Tesla chargers right over there. I think there are also, yeah, there's a Rivian charger back there as well. So that's been around for a long time. We had to make a quick little detour to Oak Creek Country Club. This is a public course in Sedona that I absolutely love. And we're gonna play the par 5 12th here. Absolutely the worst swing of the day right there. Just chunked a driving iron, and the lady said, nice swing. So just had to say thank you and move on. Then I went with the 7-iron here. I was so far back, I just had to lay up to a good number to have a solid wedge left. This was a good swing here. Tight draw. Look at that. Nice tight draw, left center of the fairway. And then let's hit a little wedge. Now the wedge shot here, I think it was a 60 degree. I think it was about 103 yards. And the pin is just a front pin. So I was just trying to control spin and give myself a birdie chance. Also, check the divot out. It just kind of flubbed there. Didn't fully pop out. Controlled the spin, but I did miss the green. So now let's try and roll this in. Here we go. Look at this guy in the background. Look at him.
So I was at the bar last night, and she said she had a boyfriend.
All right. For birdie. Good golly. Oh, heartbreak. Heartbreak for the Gjeebs organization. Also, subscribe to Gjeebs Golf if you haven't already. Building up a golf channel as well. And just some bonus content here. This par 3 on the back is just beautiful here. So I hit a 9-iron, and we're a little up in elevation. I think it was 188. I pulled it a little right, airmailed the green, banked off a tree to stay in bounds. But shot 79, and let's go camping. All right, we made it to our campsite. Here's my neighbors. Kind of a large issue. There's no outlet on mine. I was told there's an outlet on every single one of these. There's no outlet. We have 9% battery. Now, the good thing is there is a charger right across the street, which I didn't plan to use, but I might have to. So I'm gonna get the rear situation set up, put the golf clubs down here, and we're gonna fold the seats down. God, I love that feature. That's the mattress we're gonna go with. And we're gonna fold these down as well. So we're good to go. All right, so this is awesome. So this is from Snuuzu, made specifically for the Model Y here. And yes, to answer your question, it does fit in the sub trunk as well. So that's all good. It stays in the bag when you open it up. And it has a self-leveling feature because the back kind of sits up. It self-levels with the memory foam that's in it. So this thing is just... And your boy's hungry, and your boy's dirty, and he didn't bring anything to shower because he didn't know there was a shower here. This is nice. Off, deflate, inflate. All right, so here's a look at Gjeebs headquarters for the evening. Look at this mattress, my Lord. This thing's incredible. And then this is also, you can see this little zipper here. You can remove this layer and actually wash it, but fits perfectly. It's custom made for the Y. Gives you a little gap up here. Gives you a little QR code so you can sign in, and then you can inflate or deflate it. All of that is built in with rechargeable USB-C right there. So this thing is money, and you can adjust how firm or soft you want it to be. So that's pretty cool. And I'm also gonna remove my roof shade tonight so we can take a look at the stars, but we're at the base of, I can't remember the mountain, but that's a 12,000 little stand up there. What? Looks like a Hunger Games stand. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. The only thing I'm bummed about is we don't have a place to plug in, so I'm not gonna be able to run air conditioning or anything tonight, but I probably won't need it because it's gonna get down to 60, so we kind of lucked out there. But as far as storage goes on the car, put golf clubs and shoes down there. I have the sub trunk, which I could put things in, and I just threw other stuff like drone or whatever in the front seat. So that's all worked out pretty nicely. And then the fact that you can throw it into camp mode. So click here, camp. Can't use camp mode because we're not at 20%. Dummy. Okay, so we might have to go to that charger tonight so we can actually experience camp mode. But yeah, this thing is money, and we'll see how it feels here in a little bit. Let's check out fitment. This place is wild, by the way. All right, let's hop in the chambers here. See how it is. Shoes off. Shoes off. Oh. There's a little. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's actually. There's definitely enough space for 2 people in here. And you could even build a little wall right here so you have separation. But it feels great. Definitely have to remove the sunroof so you can look out. But it's actually comfortable. I mean, especially if you can run the air conditioning and set it to the temperature that you want, that is huge. So yeah, this thing's incredibly comfortable. This is the highest quality mattress that's on the market as far as the materials and the time it took for them to develop this, the self-leveling technology. If you're gonna be camping in your Model Y a lot, you're going to want to get something that you actually want to sleep on. It's going to give you a good night's rest. And we'll check in the morning to see how that actually goes. But it is incredibly comfortable. And another thing, like I say, I'm 5'12", so I'm laying, got my head up against the seat here, feet right here, socks on, and we have a few more inches down there. But you can also push, these seats are at a pretty normal driving position. You could push these seats up more and have more space. So I think probably up to 6'3", 6'4", you could comfortably sleep back here. But if you're like 400 or 500 pounds, then there's only room for one. But yeah, I need to find food. All right, so this supercharging site is actually really cool. It's a square, so you can pull around. There's a pull through on the other side there, and then there's like 24 stalls, and obviously there's plenty for us to park in. So car is juicing up right now. Let's see what kind of speeds we're pulling in this thing. What kind of speeds? 219 kilowatts, not bad. 850 miles per hour. So we're doing all right. I'm gonna see if I can find like a Chili's. You know what I need tonight? Is one of those meals. I need a big corporate chain restaurant. I don't need some foreign menu. I'm not trying to try anything new. I need chicken Alfredo, and I'll do a water. So I don't know if you guys remember, there's a viral clip of this black reporter, and he's like, and that'll be new at 11, and then a bug like flies in his mouth. A bug just flew in my mouth. It reminded me of it. And so a bug flies in the guy's mouth. He goes, what kind of country ass cracker, honky? And it just, I told that story poorly, and I do apologize, but all right, I need food. We got a little fire here. I also discovered I'm in a tent spot, and it's kind of funny, there's my tent, which means it doesn't have any electricity. So the second I told the lady that I had a Tesla, she put me in a tent spot. But I did I'm like, is there electricity in my spot? She said yes, but there's not. So now we're just here. And also I forgot to get curtains, so you can just look in and watch me sleep if you want. But yeah, so if T-Parts has curtains, I'll put them up on the screen. I'm an idiot for not having those, but I honestly don't really care. There's my shower over there. So I might go in there and tiptoe around, see what's going on. And yeah, that's the update right now. Camp mode is great. Other than this, solid blow facility. Look at this. Come out of the blow facility and then just look at the mountains. Well, we're alive. There's a bobcat next to the car last night. I thought it was over for me. Tell you what, I snoozed nicely on this thing. I mean, camp mode ran all night. And another thing, I obviously took the sunshade off, at least this one, and it let some nice cool air in. And you know what else I couldn't believe? How about what I probably look like right now? How quiet it is in this cabin. There were multiple diesel trucks that drove by, and they sounded like Prius or Prii. It is remarkably quiet in this cabin. I mean, there's a highway right over there, and there's diesels everywhere. Some call it Diesel Alley. Sleep was good. You have plenty of space to stretch out. You're not cramped either way, which is nice. And you can also see the silver. So this is the silver lining, and this is the normal glass. Pretty cool. So, I guess it's time to get out of here, folks. All right, so to get it deflated, let's see here. There we go. Just hit this. Whoa. So the inflation and deflation happens in less than 2 minutes. I mean, look, it's already taking the air out of it. So really fast. Nice that that's built in. And there you go. We're back in action. Yeah, this thing was really nice to sleep on. And then it was fairly easy to pack back up too, because that's the thing. A lot of times these things, you unpackage them and you can never get them back in. This one, you just have to make sure the valve is released, and then you can kind of lay on it and squeeze the air out, or let it just deflate for 2 minutes and it'll go totally flat. So yeah, thing is money. And after all that, you just store it in the sub compartment.
Now, I did want to make a quick correction here, because one of the reasons you buy this, not only for the comfort, is for the ergonomics of it. So the bag stays attached to the mattress, as I mentioned, through a zipper mechanism on the back. So you want to leave them attached, because one of the pain points with cheaper mattresses for Teslas is you can never roll them up into the original form, and then you can't get them into storage, and you're already tight on space. So you have these buckles, as we showed, and then you can take this and it rolls up into the bag. Now, I could do this even tighter if I wanted to, but I'm just going to do a normal one. So this all rolls up, and then see, we have the Velcro here. That's going to roll into the bag, which has Velcro straps on it. And now it's already in the bag, so you're set. And then this can be stored in your frunk or your sub trunk, and you're good to go. I didn't even have to try there to get it as tight as possible. That was just a generic roll. You can make it tighter if you want, but ultimately it fits perfectly back into the travel bag. And that is, again, this is more expensive, but that's part of the reason, is because it's so well designed.
Now, the other thing we need to discuss in this video is the range on the vehicle. Now, keep in mind, I went from about 1,100 feet in elevation down in Phoenix up to over 7,000 feet in Flagstaff. So severe uphill, and also the speed limit's 65 to 75 a lot of the way up here. I was going 80, at some points 85 miles per hour, so I'm not at all going efficiently. So I left home with 85% battery, or 259 miles of range. I got here to the campsite with 8% battery, or 26 miles of range. So 233 miles were used, but only 179 miles were actually traveled. So I got 76% of what the computer said I would get. Now, if you go to the Energy app in here, it'll say exactly what you're going to get based on how you're driving, like real-time data. So 76%, but that's, I mean, up severe elevation and around 100 degrees all day, not worried about running efficiently at all. So it's actually, this model is better at getting the real world range. I'd also be curious, I'm going to do a test here soon, testing a gas car compared to an EV on a trip like this to see, okay, is the gas car getting 76% of its miles per gallon? So we'll be testing that as well in the future. But just wanted to give you that insight as well. Most people aren't going to be driving up 6,000 feet in elevation, but sometimes you do. So yeah, 76% is what we got.
So I gotta say, like, you know, this was let's see, what, 100 and close to a 300-mile round trip, little day trip. The more I drive this thing, and keep in mind, I owned a 2020 Model Y. I have a Model 3, like, so I've owned the Model Y from the beginning. Okay, Genesis, we'll call it. It's always been a good vehicle, and it started out as shockingly good, right? But then as your ownership goes on, you're like, the suspension's a little rough, it's a little loud in here, it's not delivering on miles. If you live in Phoenix, the air conditioning never catches up because it's 400 and Fahrenheit 411 or whatever the name of that book was. And I certainly didn't read it. I didn't read it, I couldn't. Melania read it to me. So the more you drive this car and actually use the features that they sell to you at the beginning, right? They're like, hey, it has Netflix. You never use it. Hey, it has Hulu. I was watching Welcome to Wrexham. It was one of my favorite shows. I was watching that last night, laying here in camp mode on my Snuuzu, and you have an excellent sound system, full surround system, streaming it at the KOA in the middle of nowhere with pine trees around you, with the air running to the temperature that I want it to be at. The car can basically drive itself. I mean, it's driving itself right now, but I'm babysitting. It's fast, which is appealing to me. It's now silent in the interior. I didn't expect to go to the campsite, and the thing that I came away with most was the fact of how quiet it is. Because remember, it was Diesel Alley, and I was like, are all these diesels powered by Prii? And it was silent. And that's just, you know, there was even some wind at one point. I was just like, I'm shocked, I guess, the more I own this thing, at how well it drives. And I don't care if you buy a Tesla, okay? I don't care. I'm making the videos regardless. But the more I drive it, the more I'm like, the only thing Tesla can do at this point, and they honestly need to, is they need to be delivering on 350 plus mile vehicles. Zero excuses. And the battery technology isn't there. You just have to slap big batteries on these things. What is the car telling me to do? Yeah, full self-driving, except keep your hands on the wheel. Do this, do that. Can't go the speed that I want it to. So my point is, you'd be nuts. You'd be actually doing you and your family a disservice if you're looking for a new vehicle to not consider a Model Y specifically. Now, you can look at the used Model S's, and those are good prices right now. The Model 3, for some reason, it's the only Tesla right now that doesn't have a front-facing camera. I think it's coming, but it doesn't have it, and that's a huge deal, I think, for full self-driving. Also, just for convenience, the car sits lower, and you don't want to jam it up over a curb like everyone does. This thing it just continues to impress me, and now my only complaint with the vehicle is that I want them to go, in the real world, I want it to go 300 plus miles. I want it to say 350, and I want it to drive it 300 plus. Not that I'm going to use it, and not that I need it, I just want it there. I know it doesn't make sense because most of your driving, blah, 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 everyone's like, well, most of your driving's in the city. Yeah, I've even said that, and it's true. What is full self-driving? Sucks, by the way. Like, it's impressive, like, it'll do things, and then it's like, I set my max speed to 81, and it goes 74. Now, how are you going to robo-taxi this thing if it can't even do the speed limit I tell it to? The upgrades that they've made to this thing are incredible. I love how it drives. The only thing that is left to do is make the range undeniable on these things. Or if you're not going to do that, make it so you can charge these things at 1,000 kilowatts per second, okay? Like, stop the 250 at 50% state of charge. This thing charges, it's like 118 kilowatts. That's garbage. It should be 250 up to 80%. Just cranking it in there. And because then you can make the argument that it's not that much different than a gas car. And like I've said, being a parent, little booger came out on that one. Being a parent, you have to stop anyways for your kids. So the charging for me is whatever. But this thing is excellent. Snuuzu made an excellent mattress that fits in the back and is ergonomically correct. It fits in the frunk and fits in the sub-trunk. That's how the mattresses need to be made. It's expensive, but if you're going to be using it a lot, you want something that's actually nice to stay on, and that was it for me. So yeah, I just come away from this having appreciated using a feature of the car I've talked about but never actually used, and the overall quality of the Model Y is excellent, and I think the value is excellent, starting at $44,000 is where these things start for the rear wheel drive, and that gets more range. So yeah. Obviously a mattress is one accessory that you could have, but check this video out right here where I show you all of the new accessories for the brand new Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model 3.